Now that we have the software installed, we're simply going to apply it to a chart, set up an ATM, and discuss the different settings that we have. And we're also going to discuss contract rollover on crude because it's a little different than some of the other markets that we trade. So I've already got my crude chart up, and it doesn't matter if you use a candlestick or if you use open, high, low, close. Whatever you prefer is fine. I just take whatever Ninja default charts are there, and it happens to be candlesticks. So I'm going to right click on my chart, left click on strategies, find ETS Crude-Trader, click new to apply it to the chart, and then we can come over here and we can change any settings that we want. Now, crude opening and closing hours are 9:05 a.m. Eastern to 2:10 p.m. Eastern. So you may want to set these up properly depending on where you're at time zone wise. Of course, if you've seen any other video on the 6E, it's basically the exact same thing. Alerts on or off, the back coloring. If you want to see back coloring when there's trades, it'll show a green back color for a long, a red back color for a short. And you can have that on or off, your call. The trading times on 9:05, 14:10, and 14:25 simply state that if there's an open position at 14:25, close it out. The button strategy, we keep that true so we can see the buttons here that you're going to see shortly. And the big takeaway here is the ATM. Okay, the ATM and trade management are stored locally on your computer. So when we create an ATM, we have to name it what we have in here, ETS Crude 1. And it's case sensitive as well. Now, we don't have to use ETS Crude 1. You could change this to Joe's Crude Strategy or something. It doesn't matter. But whatever you have in this here has to match on the ATM. Easiest thing to do, name it ETS Crude 1 with a capital C, and you're done. All right, let's talk about max gain and max loss. Let's say you want to put a $500 max gain and a $300 max loss. The strategy will not compute your total gain or loss while it's in a trade. So how it works is this. Let's say you're completely flat and you're up $450. It will take the next signal because it's not at its max gain amount. Because if it was above 500, it would not take any more trades. So let's assume it's at 450, it will take the next trade. Once that trade concludes based off of your ATM, it will then say, it'll look back and see if you're above 500. If you are, it will not take any more trades. If you are not, it will take another trade. Just like the loss, if you're down $250 or 200 or whatever, it will take the next trade. And when that trade resolves itself, it will then calculate it. So, in other words, you're not going to stop when you get exactly to 500 or stop exactly when you get to 300. The trades have to resolve themselves. But that's a nice tool if you want to use it. You can keep those changes back to zero. Another thing, I'm on market replay data because in the next video I'm going to show you how this thing actually trades. And it's important that you tell this software what account you want it to trade. So right now it's going to trade the Replay 101 account because that's the only thing available because we're on market replay. But when you're logged into your live account, you'll have your live account option or a sim option. It's up to you to go in here and do it. If you load up your Ninja Dome and load up your ATM and you select your live account on the Dome, but in here you don't touch it, it will not trade your live account. You have to tell it to trade your live account. All right, it's a very important thing there. Really, there's not much to it though. That's all there's. That's all there is to it. You come in here, you adjust the times based on where you live, right? Time zone. If you want to put a max gain, max loss, or if you want to change the audio alerts, that's fine. This is where you do it. But really, you'll just come in, apply it to your chart. You're basically good to go. Now let's go ahead and before I jump into ATMs, let's talk about contract rollover. All right. The best way to do this to find out when the contracts roll over is to simply go to your instrument manager, by going to your control center, tools, instrument manager. Let's type in crude, CL, and let's select it. We'll select edit, click the miscellaneous tab, and all the way towards the bottom you will see contract months. If you click one time over here, you'll see this little box pop up. Click on this three-dot box, and right now we're on the May 14 contract, and we went over it to the May 14 contract on March 18, 2014. So if you're wondering when are we going to roll over to the June contract, because that's it in crude, we will go month to month to month, where the S&P minis we do every quarter, so it's different. So if you want to know what date you roll over, you simply select a June contract and we say, oh, April 18th we're going to roll over. Now I want to caution you, on contract rollover day, the day before and the day after, there's a lot of split volume. We generally do not trade those 3 days. So the day before rollover, and the day after, we do not trade. The results we show you are based off of not trading on those days. Okay, so very important. Nice little tool here to go in here that Ninja has for us that shows us when contracts roll over. But I'll cancel all this out, and let's briefly go into the ATM. And the ATM we're going to do here is what we use for the results we post. Okay, you're free to use whatever you want to use. I'm just going to show you what we do. Okay, and we do this off of 2 contracts. So either I need to change this to custom here. So 2 different targets, and you can either trade 1 contract or 2 and 2, 1 and 1, however you like it. And we use a 22 tick stop loss across the board. Profit targets on this are 10 and 14, and now we're going to add some trailing stops in. Now don't get too caught up on the risk reward ratio being upside down. Again, we don't guarantee results, nobody can, but if you look at the results we have, they're really good, and it's based off of these exact numbers. So don't worry too much. If you're one that worries a little bit about the risk reward, I wouldn't let it bother you too much. But remember, you're free to choose how you want to do this. If you don't like our way, if you think it's a little too risky or a little too aggressive, or maybe not aggressive enough, you can certainly change it to whatever you like. So let me set the stop strategies up here. I'm going to go in here and click custom, and the first is going to be the auto break even, and we're going to do 9 ticks and a -2. What this means is once the trade goes 9 ticks in the money, take the stop to break even -2 ticks. And then once the trade goes 10 ticks, take it 8 ticks behind the high water mark and move it up tick for tick, tick for tick, tick for tick. And we'll do the same thing over here. We're going to do 9 ticks, -2, and 8, 1, and 10. That's all there is to it. Now we got to give it a name. Now as you can see right here, it's looking for an ATM called ETS C Crude 1. So I'm going to save this just like that. ETS C RUDE 1. And now I'm good to go. And of course you can use whatever, we have 4 place settings. If you want to have 4 different ATM strategies, you can name them ETS Crude 1, 2, 3, 4, or as I showed you in the settings, if you want to use your own names, you can certainly do that as well. So that wraps it up for this video. We've covered applying it to the chart, contract rollover, we covered the settings, and we set up the ATM. And the next video we'll cover the rules that we use and how we actually trade it every day. So I hope this video helps. Feel free as always to get in touch with any questions.